माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव श्री राधे। जय राधा कालचंजी राधा कालचंजी श्री राधे। जय राधा कालचंजी राधा कालचंजी श्री राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai. Shri Radha Kalachan Ji ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's chant this together. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We can also recite the invocation prayers in the beginning. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gatadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Namah Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming for morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today, so we started with Canto 9 yesterday, Chapter 1. Today we are going to read from text 23 through 42. So we can start reading the translations one by one.
O King Parikshit, that hero Sudyumna, accompanied by a few ministers and associates, and riding on a horse brought from Siddhu Pradesha, once went into the forest to hunt. He wore armor and was decorated with bows and arrows, and he was very beautiful. While following the animals and killing them, he reached the northern part of the forest.
Yeah, we can pass on. And thank you, Prabhu.
There in the north, at the bottom of Mount Meru, is a forest known as Sukumara, where Lord Shiva always enjoys with Uma. Sudyumna entered that forest.
O King Parikshit, as soon as Sudyumna, who was expert in subduing enemies, entered the forest, he saw himself transformed into a female and his horse transformed into a mare.
When his followers also saw their identities transform and their sex reversed, they were all very morose and just looked at one another.
Maharaj Parikshit said, O most powerful Brahmana, why was this place so empowered, and who made it so powerful? Kindly answer this question, for I am very eager to hear about it.
Shukadev Goswami answered, great saintly persons who strictly observed the spiritual rules and regulations and whose own effulgence dissipated all the darkness of all directions once came to see Lord Shiva in that forest. When the goddess Ambika saw the great saintly persons, she was very much ashamed because at that time she was naked. She immediately got up from the lap of her husband and tried to cover her breast.
Seeing Lord Shiva and Parvati engaged in sexual affairs, all the great saintly persons immediately desisted from going further and departed for the ashram of Nar Narayan.
Thereupon, just to please his wife, Lord Shiva said, any male entering this place shall immediately become a female.
Since that time, no male had entered that forest, but now King Sudyumna, having been transformed into a female, began to walk with his associates from one forest to another.
Sudyumna had been transformed into the best of the beautiful women who excite sexual desire and was surrounded by other women. Upon seeing this beautiful woman loitering near his ashram, Buddha, the son of the moon, immediately desired to enjoy with her.
The beautiful woman also desired to accept Buddha, the son of the king of the moon, as her husband. Thus Buddha begot in her womb a son named Pururava.
Upon seeing Sudyumna, I heard from reliable source that King Sudyumna, the son of Manu, having his achieved femininity, remembered his familial spiritual master.
Upon seeing Sudyumna's deplorable condition, Vasishtha was very much aggrieved. Desiring for Sudyumna to regain his maleness, Vasishtha again began to worship Lord Shankara Shiva.
O King Parikshit, Lord Shiva was pleased with Vasishtha. Therefore, to satisfy him and to keep his own word to Parvati, Lord Shiva said to the saintly person, Your disciple Sudyumna may remain a male for 1 month and a female for the next. In this way, he may rule the world as he likes.
Thus, being favored by the spiritual master, according to the words of Lord Shiva, Sudyumna regained his desired maleness every alternate month, and in this way ruled the kingdom, although the citizens were not satisfied with this.
O king, Sudyumna had 3 very pious sons named Utkala, Gaya and Vimala, who became the kings of the Dakshinapatha.
Thereafter, when the time was ripe, when Sudyumna, the king of the world, was sufficiently old, he delivered the entire kingdom to his son Pururava and entered the forest.
Yeah, that's all. Hare Krishna. Can we please shift to text 33? That's our focus for today. Thank you. Please repeat after me. Tat urdhvam vanam tadve purusha varjayantihi sachanuchara samyukta vichachara vanadvanam. Tat urdhvam vanam tadve purusha varjayantihi sachanuchara samyukta vichachara vanadvanam. Please recite. Tata urdhvam vanam tadve purusha varjayantihi sachanuchara samyukta vichachara vanadvanam. Taturdvam vanam tadve purusha varjayantihi sachanuchara samyukta vichachara vanadvanam. Anybody else? Tata urdhvam vanam tadve purusha varjayantihi sachanuchara samyukta vichachara vanadvanam. Thank you so much. Word to word translation. We can read this together. Tata urdhvam, from that time onward. Vanam, forest. Tat, that. Vai, in particular. Purushaha, males. Varjayanti, do not enter. He, indeed. Sa, Sudyumna, in the form of a woman. Cha, also. Anuchara, samyukta, accompanied by his companions. Vichachara, walked. Vanat vanam, within the forest from one place to another. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Since that time, no male had entered that forest. But now, King Sudyumna, having been transformed into a female, began to walk with his associates from one forest to another. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 2.22, it is said, Vasamsi Jirnani yatha vihaya navani granati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. The soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. The body is just like a dress, and here there is proved. Sudyumna and his associates were all male, which means that their souls were covered by male dress. But now they became female, which means that their dress was changed. The soul, however, remains the same. It is said that by modern medical treatment, a male can be transformed into a female and a female into a male. The body, however, has no connection with the soul. The body can be changed either in this life or the next. Therefore, one who has knowledge of the soul and how the soul transmigrates from one body to another does not pay attention to the body, which is nothing but a covering dress. Pandita Samadarshina, such a person who sees the soul, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is a Samadarshi, a learned person. So, this is quite an interesting incident that we're actually reading about. This is quite astonishing. Suddenly, you enter a certain part of the forest and the body changes from male to female. The king Sudyumna actually was a male, and when he was entering the forest with his companions, with all his, on the horse, and suddenly when he entered the certain part of the forest, his body changed from male to female. Even the horse changed from male to a female horse. It changed to a mare. And then Maharaj Parikshit inquires Shukadev Goswami about this interesting act. And Shukadev Goswami narrates this pastime of Lord Shiva enjoying with his wife Parvati. And because earlier it had happened, some saints had entered into that part of forest and they were intimate. So Shiva, just to please his wife, said that anybody entering into this forest would turn into female. And that's why this is what happened with King Sudyumna. All the companions also were changed, got the body of a female. And because Sudyumna also transformed into a very beautiful female body, she ended up marrying Buddha. And they had a son together named Pururava. So this is the incident that has actually taken place. Further goes on where Sudyumna's spiritual master Vashishta had started worshipping to Shankara, because all the residents of that kingdom, they were all not happy seeing their king change into a female. And Vashishta prayed to Shiva that please, fix this situation. And Shiva, because he had already given this, made this statement that everybody would be turned to a female, then he said that, okay, he was pleased with Vashishta. He said that 1 month King Sudyumna would be in a female body and other month would be in a male body. So every alternate month, the body would change. One female and another month it would be male, and then back to female and then male. So this would continue. But in the text, in 33rd text that we just read, the purport, it is described how Srila Prabhupada has so many times talked about our real identity. So how many times have we read this statement from Srila Prabhupada that we are not this body, but we are a soul? N number of times, right? It's actually said that Srila Prabhupada in so many books, in many purposes of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, time and again, he stresses upon this point that we are not this body, we are soul. And still we don't seem to remember it. We've been hearing it, we've been reading it, but we have not realized this knowledge. And this is actually the beginning of spiritual education. If you all remember, maybe your first ever class in ISKCON, or first ever, one of the first few classes, you would have actually encountered this statement where the speaker talks about our real identity. Who am I? And that's actually the starting point, and that's the foundation of our bhakti. Even now, we've been practicing for so many years, or maybe months, and still something happens around us, and then we are reminded, when we are in sorrow or we are struggling, we are reminded that, you're not this body. So, why is it so hard for us to always remember this? Because we are very deeply attached to this body. We have deep-rooted attachment. It's not just at a surface level. It's so deep-rooted, like, because of this identity that I am a female, I'm a male, I am American or Indian or Chinese, or I'm white, or I am black, I'm dusky, I'm fat, I'm slim. So many identities are there that people are just trying to elevate their identity rather than elevating their consciousness. They're trying to be in a better body. The struggle throughout life is, okay, how can I be richer? How can I be more beautiful? How can I have more fame? How can I be stronger? And so everybody you will see around the world will have, some gym routine, running around, gym memberships. They will go to spas, they will go to parlors, they will do all kind of personality development classes and sessions just so that they can look better. And why do they want to do that? Why do we spend thousands of money on this? Because we think that this will make me feel happy. This will definitely make me happy. Because we have identified with this body. But Srila Prabhupada reminds us that our real identity is that we are souls. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Jivara Swarupa hoy Krishna Nitya Das. We are just like in a car, there's a driver. Without the driver, the car is useless. Similarly, this body is like a car, and the soul sitting inside this body is driving this body. But we are constantly feeding this body. And how are we doing that? Because we always want to be happy, we want to be satisfied, but we are not feeding the right place. It's like if I'm thirsty and I'm so thirsty, I want to have water, but instead of drinking it from my mouth, I'm just pouring water on my hand. And I'm like, okay, I'm giving water to my body, I'm pouring water on my hand, but still my thirst is not quenched. What's going wrong? Maybe I need to have alkaline water, maybe I need to have best water in the world. Maybe that will satisfy my thirst. But it's actually not that. It's the fact that I'm not taking the water, I'm not putting in the right place, I'm not drinking it by my mouth. And similarly, we're doing so much, running from morning to night, constantly trying to make ourselves happy and satisfied. But we are not getting there because we are not feeding the soul. And this Srimad Bhagavatam verse 1.2.6 actually talks about the fact that what actually will make us happy. Savapam sa paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. The highest occupation of humankind is to serve the Lord with love. And that service should be uninterrupted and unmotivated. Like, it should not be for selfish motives, but it should be selfless, yayatma suprasiddhati, then that self will be satisfied. Who is the self here? The soul, right, exactly. So that's why we see there's very less harmony in the world, because there's no harmony within. There's no inner harmony. If I'm not feeling happy, if I'm not feeling satisfied, how can we expect that there will be happiness and satisfaction in the world around us? Because, like I said, there are deep-rooted attachments. Okay, let's say just because we are devotees, we understand the basic part, like we are not this body. So yes, I'm not grooming this body a lot, but that's at the gross level. But if you talk about the subtle level, the ego and the attachment, we still have that very strongly embedded in us. If somebody praises us, we feel, oh, this person is very nice. This person has seen my true quality. Only a goldsmith can identify the gold. So we feel that, okay, this person praised me, so yeah, I think this person's great knowledge. And we feel really happy. And the next time somebody criticizes us, and then we feel, okay, I don't think I should be with this person because this person does not like me. So we feel this person, what we really feel inside is this person does not satisfy my ego. Which means we are still at the bodily level. Because we are choosing relationships, or we are choosing circumstances or situations in life that we think are favoring us, that are favoring our body, that's favoring my ego, that's feeding my ego. But when we move beyond that is when we actually start thinking that I am just a soul, I'm just a part and parcel of Krishna, and the person in front of me is also a part and parcel of Krishna. And that eliminates any kind of jealousy, envy, frustration, anger, and all the unwanted feelings, the anarthas that actually stem inside our heart and consciousness. The anarthas are actually coming because we are still identifying with the body. So many judgments, so many stereotypes that I just want to be fair, I just want to be slim, I just want to be this and that, and that leads to more frustration, because when we are not able to achieve it, it just leads to more frustration. And even if we are able to achieve it, I've spoken to so many people who say that I thought doing this would make me happy, like maybe becoming a doctor, or maybe I had some goal in my life, having this much money in my bank balance would make me happy, but I still feel empty inside. I still feel that there's no purpose of my life. But I think, okay, maybe I can still do something more. Let me do this course. Let me maybe have more children. Let me expand my family. Let me change from this relationship to another relationship, because my partner is really annoying me. So I need to change. I need to break up, and I need to move on from this relationship. So we think that changing our circumstances and changing our relationships, this is going to make me happy. This material achievement will definitely bring satisfaction in my life. But how often have we heard people reaching at top most position and say that, you know what, I have cracked the code, I've achieved the key to happiness. I'm so happy. There are no problems in my life. Everything seems to be great. I'm in harmony with myself. That's something we don't hear, because we're seeing that people are constantly struggling. They're getting into depression, anxiety. There are many increasing mental health issues only because of the fact that we are getting so frustrated every day. Shram eva hi kevalam. We are doing all kind of unrequired labor, so much hard work just to think that, okay, this thing will make me happy, but it won't. So we need to move beyond this body and mind concept. It's not to say that we forget that we have this body. No, it's a temporary vehicle that has been given to us by Krishna. It's a vehicle that helps us reach places, to help us act in this body. But we don't have to forget the soul. We don't have to forget the passenger sitting inside that body. So the real nourishment will actually come just like when we water the roots of the tree. We don't water the leaves, we water the roots so that the tree can grow. Similarly, when we realize our real identity, our real relationship with the Lord, and our purpose of life, which is to serve the Lord with love. How and when can we reach that state that we are serving the Lord with selfless love? Ahetuki apratihata. That the relationship with the Lord is not selfish. The relationship is of pure love. The beginning, like I said, the beginning of spirituality is realizing I'm this soul, but going forward, going further from there is when we also realize I belong to Krishna. My soul belongs to Krishna. My body belongs to Krishna. Just like we see how Draupadi had surrendered in the most crucial moment of her life. And she raised her hands, just calling out to Krishna because she knew that in that moment only the Lord can save her, not even herself, her husband, society. Nobody came forward. And she knew that only Krishna can save her. But also going further from there is the understanding that Krishna belongs to me. Not only to me, but Krishna belongs to me. That's when we hear about Mother Yashoda's love, Nand Maharaj's love, where their love is so pure that they're always thinking about Krishna's well-being. Recently, this past time, right, Amrendra Prabhu was telling how when he was here in Dallas, when Krishna would go out and play, Mother Yashoda would decorate him so nicely with beautiful shark-like earrings, a peacock feather, nice sandalwood and everything. Beautiful dhoti, ornaments. And Krishna would go and roll in, not just dust of Vrindavan, but in cow dung. He would roll in cow dung because he loves cows. He loves cows are also his devotees. And he would roll in that cow dung with his friends. And when he would get back, Yashoda Maya would see who is this ball of cow dung? She won't even recognize this is Krishna. Because the peacock feather is also missing. There is only one earring now. The other one is missing. And then, you remember, right, what Yashoda Maya says? She says, yes, were you pig in your past life? And Krishna says, yes, I was Varahadev. So that love where Vatsalya Prem, where pure devotee thinks that Krishna belongs to me. So why am I saying this? Is because we don't have to think that this is the end, that I'm not this body, I'm the soul. That's the beginning. It's actually the beginning, and we are stuck at that level only. We might think, okay, maybe this lecture is not for me because I am way beyond this misconception of misidentifying with my body, but no, we are all there. We are all, it's actually deeply rooted because Maya is so strong, and we have lived in this material world like for so many births, and it's hard to just leave this misconception in a second. I mean, you can by the mercy of Vaishnavas and by Krishna's mercy. But one who always thinks, Srila Prabhupada says, right? One who always thinks that, I am in Maya, I really need to be careful, is actually humble and is safe. But who thinks that I'm not in Maya, I'm beyond all this, he's definitely in Maya. So, yes, we don't have to think like, oh, I'm constantly struggling in this identity part, but how can we elevate our consciousness? By, like I said, by constantly feeding the soul, and that is by things that you're already doing. Bhakti, you're doing japa, sankirtan, you're chanting the holy name of Krishna. That is you actually feeding the soul, putting water in your mouth and quenching the thirst. That is you feeding the soul when you chant the holy names of Krishna. When you hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Right now, when you're hearing, even if we might be half asleep, which I can see, but it's still feeding the soul. Once some devotee had asked Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, you do recite shlokas in Sanskrit, but people don't understand, so why don't you just skip to the English translation? And Srila Prabhupada said, you cannot understand, but the soul inside you can understand. So it is for the soul. And that is why we see that so much purification came. Of course, it was also because it was speech of Srila Prabhupada's Vani, because he is such a pure devotee. But also, anything that we are reading in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, anything we are hearing from these wonderful scriptures is transcendental. It is not a mere novel of this world, just some Sherlock Holmes books or some, I don't even remember any names, but Shakespeare books. This is actually transcendental. Gifts given from Krishna himself. And when we hear them, when we associate with these scriptures, we are engaging our soul. Your soul is getting, like your consciousness is getting purified. Your soul is feeling happy and satisfied. When you actually understand this, when you hear with attention, yes, you have to hear with attentiveness. Like we say, chant attentively. You hear the scriptures attentively. That's why whenever, if we come in that situation where we are facing any problems, we will realize, oh, yes, Bhagavatam actually talks about this. Bhagavad Gita keeps saying this is dukhalayam ashashvatam. So constantly when we are in any problem, we are like, yeah, I think I was being too happy and floating in the air. Now Krishna is kind of reminding me that, okay, yes, you be a little humble and you don't have to have like permanent resident in this material world. You actually have to work to get out of here. So that's when your real nourishment will come, when you are constantly serving the Lord with love. That's the most important thing. We have to serve the Lord with love, selfless love. And we will get there when we associate with devotees who have that selfless love. How can we understand somebody has selfless love or somebody has pure love? Of course, when we associate with devotees, we talk to them, we see how much they are sacrificing just to come to temple. Believe me, there are families who still struggle. There are people who still struggle to practice Krishna consciousness because of challenges in their personal lives. But they are trying. And that's why when we meet any devotee, we need to really appreciate from the heart. We need to glorify that person. Even for the smallest thing that you see in them, instead of meeting somebody and poking them with a needle and bursting their ego. We need to inspire them. We need to glorify them. That's very important. As devotees, this is our another most important dharma. To meet and greet devotees with love. Not just devotees, actually anybody we meet. We need to greet with love, because that's where your understanding of the identity will actually get more fixated, because you will see that the other person is also part and parcel of Krishna. So I'll pause here. If there are any comments, realizations, questions regarding today's topic, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
I was appreciating your point that, the chasing of these things just leads to more stress, The millionaire, once they become a millionaire, they want 5 million. They want 5 million, now you got to get 20 million, And not just money, but like exercise or this or that. However, I would like to say that for devotees, please have lots of kids. We need more kids in our movement. So 5, 6, 7 kids. Okay, please.
It seems like
You
an
young people.
instruction.
5, 6 devotee kids. We need kids running around everywhere.
Jai to that. Yes, we definitely, devotees need to raise Krishna conscious kids. That's very important point.
We really have nice communities now with schools and stuff too. It's like, it takes a village, right? And so we have these nice facilities, and you can see that these kids that are around this community are just amazing,
Yes.
So have 10 of them. Yes.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Any other points or questions? Or even experiences from your life that hit you that, yes, I am not this body, I'm so...
Hare Krishna Vrinda Sevika Prabhu, thank you. It could have been a very tricky topic, but you, brought it home so nicely, focusing on, soul, about trying to, pure love. And
I hope I didn't dodge from the
no
topic.
No.
Yeah.
And you were saying how we may think we've got the concept, yes, but that journey from the head to the heart is so difficult. And I was just going to give you my own example. Like, even at my age, I go into the office once a week, and that one day when I go, I come back, I'm like, okay, I need a haircut because everybody lets their hair down in the office. I just can't have this bun and go like a,
Yeah.
this old lady in there. It's just so it's like you just scratch the surface and it's right there.
Yeah.
So association, that's why, is also very important. Just coming back to this concept, because I was very impressed that when Prabhupada was writing the translation, he said that there is medical facilities where a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man. And just if you read a little bit of news, there's so much of that in news these days. But I was like, okay, technology still hasn't progressed to the point where every month you can just switch into
It's super modern, yeah.
So even on that level, it feels like, okay, Bhagavatam and the stories are like so much, but bringing back the concept that, yes, ultimately, we are fulfilled.
Right. Thank you so much for reminding. Yeah. Your example was so relatable about the office trip also. When we go out, right, we are constantly like, okay, am I looking good enough? That definitely comes back, and we bring that consciousness back. And even about the gender, right, we see people now are so vocal about their gender identity. He/his, she/hers. I identify as this. And I'm without offending anybody on this, because this is a very sensitive topic, and sensitive because we are so much close to this identity that, yes, I am a man or I am a woman. First, it was just about nationality. Now it's getting about gender. Now probably tomorrow it will get about something else. But yes, material world is just constantly teaching us about who am I. It is not wrong to have your identity, but you need to have the correct identity. We need to have true identity, because it's misplaced identity, and that's why all the suffering and problems are just increasing with, each step that we are taking towards life. Things are getting harder. It's not meant to be so hard, right? Living and being happy is not meant to be so hard, but nowadays it's so complicated only because of how limited our consciousness is getting. Prabhupada's books are so elevated, like they're like at PhD levels, where we are just by reading that you're feeling so liberated. But yes, as devotees, have to constantly get reminded about it. So yeah, we need to be like you said, in the association of like-minded people, in the association of right people. It might help us get somewhere. Mataji has a question at the back.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for the class. Yes, I agree with you in regards of all the labels, all the, labels that people are so happy to stress, But also, I am convinced that we are souls, and other people tend to forget that, like I have never been or trying to say I am this or that, but the way other people looks at you sometimes is like, I'm sorry, what do you want me to convince you of?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, it used to be confusing when I was younger, and nowadays I'm just like, I know who I am, and God knows who I am, right? So that's, I think it's a very deep topic.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you remember that we are souls, and regardless of looks, colors, races, countries of origin, that we remain the same for God, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's my take.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, all these labels are just dividing us, right? They're not like as simple as a common, like this is common sense, right? When we see these labels, it just divides us.
Yes.
It creates jealousy. It creates hatred. So then, yeah.
And that our essence is love, right?
Yes.
And I think that we tend to forget that principle, because sometimes we forget the meaning of love, which is like transcendental. It's something that comes from God.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, pure love actually comes from God. You've summarized it very nicely. Thank you. Pure love comes from Krishna. Yeah.
I was thinking how the Vedic, our philosophy, has such a practical understanding of the things that this world can't answer. For instance, you have some religions that talk about how being gay or trans is like a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
But we can actually understand in our books that no, this is actually something that people, it's part of their identity. And the thing that is that I think that people don't understand is that twofold, that when you don't have a God conscious society who's on the Bollywood platform, you can't appreciate people that are different than you. You can't see that underneath that they are the spirit soul, and so then you start seeing them as this, and this. So like you mentioned, and then because those people are being hurt, are being degraded, being treated improperly, eventually you have to stand up and say, "Hey, we're people too. They can't do this to us, right?" And so right now we have a big movement in our culture for the rights of people who are gay or trans and stuff, which is appropriate in the sense that violence should never be done, right? The thing though is that what you see, at least this is my perspective, and I'm curious what maybe the devotees thinks, is it's so advertised and so out there that when there's people confused about their happiness or their enjoyment and need some attention, that this becomes something easy to connect with. Like, oh, that's an easy way to get some attention, right? And so then they attach to it, and they later on go through life and go, actually, no, that's not, I wasn't gay. But there are people actually that do have, does that make sense? That there's, because of the advertisement and the putting it out there and stuff like that, there are young people that, oh, that seems convenient. Like maybe that's what's wrong with me, or as I'm not fitting in. I'm not saying that I'm not fitting in, so therefore that must be, what the answer is. So twofold. What I'm trying to say is twofold. People not appreciating people as a spirit soul, treating them lower than human, lower than children of God, and then the need to defend that, which is natural, and then being like, you have parades and these things and stuff like that. And so, a lot of people go, wow, that seems convenient. I could attach to that.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to, probably what I understand, is that sense of belongingness that people are really, looking for, and the fact that when they're not able to feel that they are being welcomed by people around them, they try to figure out what the reason would be, and that's why all those protests and like you said, the identity develops. Maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that, and that's because there's lack of information, right? There's lack of knowledge, not lack of information, but lack of knowledge in people, that we are not, in schools we are not taught about this. We are not generally talking about soul at the soul level. That's the only point in life is when somebody dies. That also it occurs to some people, right? All this life they worked for this body, just lying there, and the soul went somewhere. Still, it's right there, but we're not able to understand this knowledge. But yeah, I get what you mean.
I actually have experience with this. My daughter in 8th grade, 7th grade, she was going to public schools, and her friends were talking about it. She comes home, I'm gay. Oh, really? Okay. Sounds good. Just kind of went with it. And then now she has a boyfriend, you know what I mean? And like totally not that. And so I'm saying that, you hear me. It is like, anyways.
We get confused and we cannot blame people for that. It's just that there's just lack of knowledge.
Well, my thought too is if we would have fought her about it and like, no, you're not, and this like that, it would have strengthened her identity.
Yes.
And who knows what mentally it would have done to her. You know what I mean? We kind of just let her go through the process, and in whether either way, we loved her, of course. You know what I mean? But she goes through the process. She's like, okay, never mind, I'm not. So, anyways, sorry, Krishna. A tough topic, but I think that it's important that we talk about these as devotees, and because I really think it's an important part. There's a lot of religions that say this is a false thing. This isn't true. This is a sickness. This is a mental illness. And we, as in our society, actually have proof throughout history that this isn't just a mental. It's not a mental illness. It's actually a part of life.
Yeah. Even Srimad Bhagavatam has many instances where things like these have come, right? Personalities we have read about. So yeah. Okay, we can wrap up and head for prasada. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpitarubhasya kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav Bhakt Vrind ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. With prasadam, I just remembered Mahaprasadam is that one thing that feeds body and soul both. Hare Krishna.